Hello, my name is Sophie Russell, and you are joining me today on the 4th of October 2016. I'm starting this little kind of series. It's like a kind of podcast style series, and I admit I made a video. I made a recording just literally half an hour ago, and I deleted it by accident. So this is my second attempt, ladies and gentlemen. And you're gonna get a more concise version of what I did before, hopefully. I've made myself another cup of tea. It is quite late. It is like, what time is it? It's like nearly 1 in the morning. Yeah, so I did start making it about before midnight. I'm quite exhausted after all that talking. But yeah. Ooh. You're joining me with a cup of tea and some milk chocolate raisins. I think I need them. So yeah, I decided to start this series because I want to talk about many things, and I don't know, just kind of express myself in the only way that I know how. I've tried to do this kind of thing in like more video form, like the typical form. A lot of people on YouTube are doing that, but whenever I try to, I feel really self-conscious. And I was like, people don't want to look at me. They don't want to look at me. The only thing that's important to me is having my voice heard. So, I feel much more comfortable and liberated talking about my own things this way. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this series. Basically, I'm going to be talking about, with each episode, I'm going to be talking about anything and everything. And hopefully maybe if I get loads of viewers on board, you can suggest topics of conversation for me. This would be sort of like podcasts at the end of the day, you know, where people just talk, like kind of little radio shows, but instead of airing it on the radio, I'm airing it on YouTube, which I thought was quite a good idea. And instead of looking at me, you can look at really nice photos and you could admire my editing skills. I may even put up pictures that I create myself. I'm a graphic designer, so yeah, be warned, you may get to see some of my own work. That'll be quite a nice and interesting thing as well. But what's the main highlight of these shows is going to be like what I talk about. And quite literally, I will talk about any kind of random stuff, like whether it's films, books, TV, food, drink. I'm a big tea drinker myself. I'm British, as you can hear. And yeah, any kind of spiritual matters as well I'm going to be delving into. I'm a highly spiritual type of person, but I'm quite laid back about it. I'm not religious. I'm not Christian. I'm not Buddhist. I'm not any of those. I kind of have my own, I wouldn't even call it a religion, because I'm always kind of changing. I'm always adapting. I'm always learning. So I'm not going to have just like one set way of believing. I'm never going to try and tell people this is how it is, because the universe, I feel, it shifts. And what was true a billion years ago is not as relevant today, I've learnt. So yeah, I'm not a very religious person, so you're not going to get any kind of hardcore, like you must do this kind of talking, and you're just going to get some kind of laid back thing, as if you're just like sitting here with me in my boudoir drinking tea with me, which is the way I like it. So the subject matter for today, I'm going to try and make this as short as possible. I don't want to bore anyone. Most importantly, I don't want to make it as long as I did the previous one. Okay, so just a sec, I'm just getting... I'm using my phone at the moment, and I'm trying to get into this document that I made years ago, actually back in 2012. 8th of February 2012. Yeah, I put it up on my Facebook because it was so extraordinary, and I still find it so extraordinary. I just want to talk about it, and that's, like for the past few days I've been thinking I want to create a kind of YouTube radio series, but I don't really know what I wanted to talk about. I don't want to just drone on about something just for the sake of it, but at the same time I really just wanted to start this series. But then it suddenly hit me, it dawned on me today. I thought, wow, I could do that. That's what I really want to do. Yes, I want to talk about that, because not a lot of people know about this, and I feel it needs to be heard. It needs to be recognised. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Harry Potter, and I am going to talk about spirituality. Not spirituality in general, but a particular aspect of spirituality that many people might be familiar with. It's has anyone here ever heard of chakras? If you have, then like this video now, and also like it if you want to carry on watching and listening to it, because if you are kind of aware of what all the chakras are, and you are interested in like learning how you go through your chakras and how you heal yourself through chakras, then do continue listening. And also, if you have any comments on this, your minds will be blown away, I swear to you. Even if you're not familiar with chakras, I mean, your minds are still going to be blown. And I'm going to introduce you a bit to chakra knowledge. It's not, I mean, you could improve your life so much by knowing a bit more about chakras. I was a bit kind of umming and ahhing about learning about it to begin with, but I just kept on getting this message inside my head. I just kept on getting chakras. You need to know about chakras. And I was like, why? I don't want to learn about chakras. It seems too complicated. But it turned out that there was very deep relevance, like to chakras, and I found that in the Harry Potter series, the chakras were very much represented. I don't know whether this was intentional or not. I can't really imagine J.K. Rowling actually, like, deliberately setting out to make, like, chakras be represented in her book. But I did discover it, and I think it's just one of those things that it just magically included itself, I think. But I do feel that J.K. Rowling is a very intuitive person, and she probably did like kind of pick up on the truth of the chakras, like in her own way, and just kind of translated it into something else. So I'm going to talk about Horcruxes and their relationship to chakras. I'm going to go through each of the Horcruxes, and I'm going to explain how each of them represents one of the chakras. And what's really mind-blowing is the fact that J.K. Rowling happens to have done all the different Horcruxes. She's put them in a particular order, like the order of when they were destroyed and stuff. And their order reflects the order of the chakras and in what order you actually go through them in order to attain enlightenment. And it is so extraordinary. It's almost like she knew it, but I don't think she did know it. So, right, so first off, the first chakra, first Horcrux. Right, first Horcrux is the diary, and I noticed that it was very much like the root chakra. Now, the root chakra is the colour red, and it is located in the base of the spine, and it deals with survival and is blocked by fear. Its archetypes are Earth Mother and Victim. Ginny was the victim in book 2, which was when we were first introduced to the diary. And in the end, she learnt how to take responsibility for herself. She was just thrust into this new life, like all her child, she'd been looked after by her family. She didn't feel like she could, she had the power to look after herself, kind of thing. I think she felt vulnerable, and she was very, very vulnerable. And I think Harry acted a lot like kind of Earth Mother, in that he was her protector. He helped her to realise that she didn't have to be afraid, that she had the power to look after herself and not be the victim. But yeah. And so the fact that the diary and the root chakra, like the root chakra deals with survival and is blocked by fear, I've put down, and the whole second film is all to do with like fear and phobias. It's a very scary book, actually, and it is very much like represented as survival, because I mean you've got all these people like almost dying, you've got people, all these students being attacked, and Harry is fighting for their survival, he's fighting for his survival in that book, but then again he's fighting for everyone's survival in all of the books, so, but yeah. So yeah, that's the first one. The second one is like the ring. It's the second Horcrux, and that is represented as the sacral chakra, which is orange, and it deals with pleasure and is blocked by guilt. Its archetypes are the sovereign and the martyr. Dumbledore became the martyr in the end, but occasionally he would show signs of being the sovereign, the person who rejoices in the time he has left on the earth. But when he drinks the potion in Voldemort's cave, he becomes the martyr again, remembering his guilt for all the things he's done wrong in the past. I thought that was very interesting. And like, because when he destroys the ring, doesn't he? And like, as soon as he destroys the ring, he destroys himself. He becomes a martyr, I suppose, because he had to kill himself, or he wasn't very. He said he wasn't very quick in defending himself. So I think that just is like a sign that he ended up succumbing to the negative side of the sacral chakra, which is being a martyr. But for the majority of the time, Dumbledore was the sovereign. Like, he was acting like the sovereign. He was the person who was in charge of things. He was able to take control, and also at the same time, he is very kind of like a pleasure seeker. He didn't mind like indulging, you know, even in his like wild fancies, like the way he thinks. He's very, very unusual. But yeah. So that's the second one, the ring. The locket. Okay. This is the solar plexus chakra, which is located in the stomach area, and it's the colour yellow. It hence why the locket is yellow in the film. It deals with willpower and is blocked by shame. I also feel that the locket represents what they call it. Like your status. Yeah, it's represented as status and high power. And archetypes are spiritual warrior and drudge. Ron is the drudge throughout the first part of the 7th book. He becomes the spiritual warrior when he returns to save Harry and destroy the Horcrux, thus gaining his self-esteem. Also, when they are first looking for the locket, it turns out that Umbridge has it, and while she's wearing it, she feels like she exercises a lot of status, power, like high self-esteem, and she takes away other wizards' self-esteem by saying you're not worthy, you don't, or you are nothing compared to me because of my status. So that's how I feel the locket is. The 4th is the cup, and that is represented as the heart chakra, which is the colour green and pink. It deals with love and is blocked by grief. Archetypes are lover and performer. Hermione is reluctant to forgive Ron because of the grief she felt for him since he left. She loses trust in his ability to be the best of himself, but when he proves that he is the best of himself, his comment about saving the house elves, for instance, after Hermione destroys the Horcrux, she falls in love with him. That's an example of how the heart chakra comes into Harry Potter. And another way to look at it is that Bellatrix Lestrange, she was the one who had the cup in her vault. And we know that she has a very kind of lustful, obsessional love relationship with Voldemort. She has an infatuation with him. And that is very much like the heart chakra, in that she's been very kind of possessive, and that is represented in her possession of the cup. She feels so much like infatuation for Voldemort that she has claimed ownership of him, of his soul. So there you go. And so you have to really look deep into these things yourself, because there's so many little teeny tiny things that represent all the chakras. So we'll go into the diadem, which I feel is the throat chakra, and it is represented by blue, and it deals with the truth and is blocked by lies. Archetypes are communicator and masked self. Now, please listen very carefully to this. The Grey Lady is known for being the daughter of Rowena Ravenclaw, the co-founder of Hogwarts, who encouraged wisdom through her students, and as such she inherited the role of communicator of wisdom from Rowena, represented as the diadem. But she lost it, and therefore she lost a part of herself, becoming secretive and too scared to use her voice. Right before the Horcrux was destroyed by Crabbe, he began expressing himself creatively by using the Fiend Fire curse. Yeah, I mean, it's all right there at the end of the day. And the fact that Ravenclaw is represented as blue, I thought that was quite strange, isn't it? Yeah, when Crabbe, I mean, the throat chakra, it's got two extremes. You've either got an unbalanced throat chakra by overexpressing, like yourself, which is what Crabbe did, and that he ended up dying in the end because of that, or you underexpress yourself, just like Rowena Ravenclaw, and she's dead, so she's a ghost. And so they're the two extremes. Oh, it's just so fascinating the way these all link up. So yeah, we've gone now to the scar, and this is represented as the third eye chakra, which is the colour indigo. It's like kind of purpley blue. It deals with insight and is blocked by illusions. Now, I think a lot of people probably know where the third eye chakra is. It's in like the centre of the eye, like around the forehead. And where is Harry's scar situated? On the forehead. Oh, that's quite funny. And also, okay, look, the archetypes are psychic and rationalist. Right, the part of Voldemort that was inside Harry was giving him strange visions and insights into Voldemort's mind. When Voldemort destroyed Harry's scar, Harry experienced an unusual phenomena in seeing Dumbledore in the spirit world. Hence, he awakens his third eye chakra at that point, because he's seeing lots of the different visions, and it's kind of forewarned as well that is what his scar is to do with, because right before he gives himself up to death, he is seeing visions of his family. So yeah, I think when you really think about it, you will start to notice all the little things about it. It's very, very cool. So yeah, we know that there are 8 Horcruxes instead of 7, including Voldemort's body, like his part. So we've got the last 2. There's the snake and Voldemort. Obviously, we have to destroy the snake before we destroy Voldemort. The snake, I feel, is represented as the Kundalini, which is a snake that runs down through each chakra, and it's temptation. It's when people say you go down the spiral, it's this kind of spiral thing. You either go down the spiral or you go up the spiral. And if you're a part of Voldemort's soul is in the snake, in that it's the negative part, in where it's temptation. You get tempted into going down, or you get tempted into going up. Either way, the snake represents temptation. I've just explained that really rubbishly, but I'm sure you guys get the gist. So yeah, we've got the snake, which is temptation, and then we've got Voldemort, his part of his soul, his body, the main part. Right, that is represented as the crown chakra, which is the violet colour, and it's situated right at the top of the skull. And it deals with pure cosmic energy and is blocked by earthly attachments. Earthly attachments being Voldemort's body. And in a sense, it's kind of represented like Harry letting go of his attachment to the earth. Like when he lets himself be killed. That's sort of going into it as well. Yeah. So yeah, the archetypes are guru and egocentric. So yeah, I've explained before, the snake represents temptation. Neville was being tempted by Voldemort to give up fighting. At that point, the snake Nagini was still alive. And Neville was being got that, yeah. He was being tempted, but he chose to stick by Harry, and by destroying the snake, he destroyed temptation. And this therefore made Voldemort powerless. I think what they say is that by disallowing yourself to be tempted down the Kundalini, you are then able to move past the crown chakra into enlightenment. Only then can you do that. When you definitely aren't going to go back. So yeah, in this sense, Neville is the guru and Voldemort is the egocentric. Harry could also be the guru though, since he is the one who defeats Voldemort. So yeah, there's all that. That's all the Horcruxes, Chakras. I thought it's quite an interesting subject to bring up. I can't wait for people to listen to this. Oh, I've still got my tea, which is a little bit warm. I've talked for about half an hour. But yeah, I quite enjoyed talking about this. There is another thing about Harry Potter that I noticed. I'm going to probably leave it for next time. Your head might be a bit too all over the place at the moment listening to this one, but I'm going to do this kind of thing very often. Hopefully in future ones it'll become even more interesting. And I won't just talk about the spiritual matters, I will talk about other things as well. Whatever. It will literally be like you're coming over for tea and talking to yours truly. So I think that's enough for today. I'm pretty tired. I wish that my first attempt had worked. I feel like this second attempt is kind of better in a way, but at the same time I am really tired. I'm not gonna do it this way in future. I don't know, I think I'm just gonna go with the flow in the day. Right, so I feel like watching Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and the behind the scenes of it. I might not actually watch the film, I might just watch behind the scenes. I think that's what I will do before I go to sleep. I am so tired. I was so upset that I couldn't save the first attempt, because it felt perfect. It felt natural, but it did go on for a bit, I admit. Right, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna finish off the rest of my tea. And I will chat to you guys later. I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit. That's not good for a first episode, is it? Okay, I promise I will be a lot happier in the future ones. It's not like I'm not happy. I mean, I did enjoy talking about this stuff. And hopefully you will feel a bit more enlightened. And you might want to look into all the chakras. Okay. I better go, because I will fall asleep if I'm not careful. Alright. Bye guys. I love you all. And see ya.